I'm back here today on water solutions. Water solution is basically the problem of flooding that we have within our homeland. Floods occur almost yearly. Usually you find most of them, but not all, are along the Mississippi, the great mighty Mississippi. Colorado has them, North Carolina, I mean on and on. They're all basically all over our country. And the question about that I ask is, here we are a nation that seems to accept the fact that flooding is acceptable. And when I went out and spoke to people about it, they said, well, we can't do anything about it. There's nothing we can do. We can't do this, can't do that. Everything I heard people say is it cannot be done. Boy, that is something you don't want to tell me about. Something can't be done. That's like I'll have to go and tell, Dr. Benz in Germany that, oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Benz, but you can't build combustion engine. You just can't. And then with the follow-up on that, Henry Ford, you can't build a car, Henry. What's the matter with you? You sick? Then all the others that follow up the line, great men, great men. Have Tesla, Edison. Oh yeah, they can't do it. You can't do it. The Wright brothers. Oh boy, you must be nuts to do it. You're going to kill yourself. It's the same story over and over and over. Everybody's always throwing out the red flag or trying to throw barricades in front of people whose purpose is to do things. And they do it for multiple reasons. One is the fact that they enjoy the challenge to make things happen for us in this country. And do we really thank these people? We don't even know how. We don't know how a light bulb works, do we? Well, of course not. Do you know where electricity comes from? No, probably not. It's not worth knowing. And the water supply, where it comes in, it just comes out of the faucet. Everything we have, someone went ahead of us. And they were, I call, the trailblazers, the ones who really slug it out with nature, or people mainly. Nature was bad enough, but people were worse. Lewis and Clark was given a commission by Thomas Jefferson, second president, third president. And the idea was to scout across this great land waters, to find out what is beyond that hillside or what is beyond the next area to investigate. So he sent Lewis and Clark to do this. Well, that was a pretty big deal. And so what they tried to do is figure out how we're going to do this. So they sat down and worked it out. Well, what most people don't know is that there were trailblazers way before Lewis and Clark came on the scene, just way before, you see. And you have Mackenzie. People don't even know who Mackenzie was. Mackenzie was a man who actually settled or looked in our great western frontier, the northern part of California, all the way up through Oregon and Washington, as we know it. And heck, I think he even went to the Arctic Circle point to look at things and to explore them and also to keep a map of everything. And then we have the Joe Walkers. Oh yeah, he was something else. Joe Walker was a real trailblazer, best kind. And what he actually ended up doing was he married, I think, a Shoshone woman, and she was the biggest help to him because she knew the land, the landscape, what you can and cannot do, and he learned very quickly. Then you have Coulter. People don't even know Coulter. Just find out yourself and find. If I find it, you can. I don't have a computer. Bridger, Hollister was another great guy, but Hollister was a little bit different in the sense that he was one of those men who would not run from a bear or anyone else, and he stood his ground, and a bear attacked him, and he reared up, and he shoved his hand into his hand went way into the mouth of the bear, and he clamped down on him, and while he was trying to chew his arm off, he pulled a knife out of his, and he killed the bear. Now, how tough are you? out there in American land. Can you want to do something like that? These were the great people that made our country what it is today. So they were the trailblazers. And the trailblazers that also found the way for the great railroads that came in, and all these things we take for granted today. So what I'm saying is I want to prevent the flooding that occurs throughout our country. And this can be done. There's no reason it cannot be done when you consider the United States, after France's failure, but they did a heck of a job getting it started, but they fell off by the wayside when the Panama Canal was designed or built or laid out. America took up the challenge and they went at it, and I mean, we lost thousands upon thousands of men in that response, but they completed it. And what have they done for all of us? Well, ships today, guess what they do? They go through the Panama. That saves a long trip with a lot of fuel loss, does it not? So, but we don't recognize these greatness of these people that gave whatever they wanted to. I can't do it and you can't do that, and they went ahead and did it. That's something we've lost in this country. The challenge, people to take on something that says it can't be done. I want to set up a flow system through canals, underwater pipelines, whatever, that will be along the Mississippi. The plan is to take the water, say during high rain conditions, and since we have our wonderful satellites overhead, we can look 5 days to 7 to 10 days in advance and actually tell you how much water will fall in a given area. So what we're going to do is set up pipes and canals and take away water to a certain degree, but allowing the Mississippi to flow, to keep it clean and let the environment work fine. But what this water will be doing is going inland, and it can be put in places such as reservoirs or whatever. We have land, we have a lot of government land we'll use for these holding areas for water. This water later on can be used for drought-ridden areas, for farms, or even people can use this water. See, we can do anything. It's just a matter of setting that precedent of how to do it. Sure, it may cost money, but what is the amount of money we spend today on just general stuff, just general things? We spent over $1 billion a year ago on Halloween stuff. Oh yeah, that's a great one, isn't it? Yeah, that was a perfect way to spend money, folks. All of us. You're talking about the people spent it. The government wasn't into that yet, but eventually they might be. They seem to get into everything. So the idea is to overcome the massive flow of water that the Mississippi overflows during times of year. And also this applies to any town and city that floods. We can find a way to prevent that from happening. And I intend on doing that. And that's pretty much all I can say on that. There's 1,000 words I could continue, but it gives you the general gist of what's going on. Now, the next topic I'm going to talk to you about is our educational system, or lack of. Thank you very much for listening to me, and have a good afternoon.